Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and welcome to This Week in WoW for the week of January 21st. Before we get started, let's go ahead and shout out the Patreon supporters. We have Mario Casillas, Rat Pally Rocks, Nick Rada, and Peter Burnham. Thank you guys so much for that support. And let's go ahead and hop in and talk about what's going on in the game for this week. This week, we do have Call of the Scarab coming back up once again. This was actually really cool, the very first one they did. Why? Because it kind of like overlapped with the pre-patch event. At the time, I think it was for BFA, I want to say. But it was somewhere around there. And it was really, really cool, actually. But now there's not very many people there in Silithus. And so, not as cool anymore. But, you know, I would love to see a reason to go back there, like actual rewards or something. Maybe make this a week-long world PvP in Silithus. That would be cool. Of course, you know, too many people always causes lag, which is a whole another issue. Let's talk about the Delves bonus event next. So Delves bonus event's coming up. This is one that I've started doing more and more as the season went on. It is fairly lucrative just to do Delves in general. You get these really valuable mats just from running Delves in general. And, you know, you get the bonus at the end as well. Especially good to do on your alts if you're doing harder content on your main. But if you're not, it's just good to do on your main. So Delve bonus event is an actual really solid one. We also have Timewalking for Legion. So Legion Timewalking is back around once again. You know, I always kind of enjoy the Legion dungeons. I think most people kind of do. This is when we first got Mythic Plus, and so a lot of these dungeons are liked. I don't like a ton of them, to be completely honest. But I do kind of just like the nostalgia. It's kind of crazy that we already have nostalgia for Legion. But like, it was the beginning of Mythic Plus. So like the beginning of Arena would have been Burning Crusade, right? So you might have nostalgia for the beginning of the Burning Crusade, even if you know, maybe you don't even like Classic that much. You might have nostalgia for that. That's kind of the feeling I get here with the Legion Timewalking. The PvP brawl this week is Arethi Blizzard, if you are a PvP player or a PvP enjoyer. Of course, we still have Plunderstorm going on. Plunderstorm's still kind of a hot button topic in the community I've seen. You know, the PvE players are really angry about Plunderstorm. I'm sorry to hear some of the PvE players. I shouldn't group them all together. You know, just a lot of anger about it for no reason. It's a very fun little game mode to play. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That's fine. There's probably things that you do that I don't like, but I don't complain about them constantly. You don't have to complain about Plunderstorm constantly if you are one of the people doing that. I enjoy it very much. A lot of people do. There's going to be different tournaments going on. I know there's going to be a Only Fangs tournament or something like that. I know actual Blizzard has having a tournament with a bunch of bigger creators and stuff. I hope it's like last one where they actually invite people that don't even play World of Warcraft. I think that's kind of fun. You want to have as few, like, you know, sweaty, as they call them, sweats as possible in one of those things, in my opinion. I really enjoy watching that when that's the case. It'd also be cool to have a tournament where it's only really hardcore players as well and see them fight off against each other. I think that's kind of fun as well. But I don't like too much when they get intermingled. There's actually a big thing with Twitch Rivals or whatever this past week where there was that, where it was just a bunch of really pro players destroying regular players. Not so fun on that account, in my opinion. But Plunderstorm is still going on. Expect that to last till months, to like mid-February. And then we will be heading, of course, shortly after that, likely into the next patch. So Plunderstorm's still going on, tournaments going on. I believe the tournament is this week. So the Blizzard, I know the Blizzard tournament, I believe, is the 25th. So it'll be on Saturday, the Blizzard tournament. So I will definitely be watching that and probably enjoying that, as long as it's similar to last year's, which I definitely enjoyed and hyped me up a lot for the game mode. So that's still going on. I have been on the PTR a little bit more. Not a ton of stuff to test out with Ret. I tested out Divine Hammer, put up a video about it. If you haven't seen that, I suggest you check it out because you'll probably be using Divine Hammer in the next patch. So I did some tests with Divine Hammer. I've done some testing with the tier set. Not too much to learn about the tier set. It is just RNG after all, which is, you know, the conclusion in the video. But everybody's is RNG. Just to be fair, it's a casino. You know, I like to try to be fair. It's a casino themed raid, and so all of the tier sets are RNG. And, you know, are casino based basically, right? So it kind of makes sense, even if you don't like it. You know, you can at least tolerate it maybe if you know that it makes sense for the theme of the raid. Maybe not, but I at least tolerate it because I know it makes sense. So I've been messing around with that. I've just been exploring. I've messed around a little bit with the delves in there, but there isn't too much to talk about the delves ahead of time. Also, it's kind of just like spoilery, and I don't like to do, while I go on the PTR, I don't like to spoil stuff. Like talking about how Divine Hammer works isn't like spoiling that for you, in my opinion. But like going into the delve and be like, oh, this is the delve, look at it. Like that just feels like you're like just showing people something that they're going to experience anyways. And maybe you'll spoil it on your own, but I don't like to take part of that personally. But I have been in the delves messing around with them as well. I do want to maybe do some dungeon testing this week on the PTR, on Ret Paladin, kind of get a feel for how it feels, how much the damage is. Maybe the tier set's adding a lot for our AoE, maybe it's not. Get a really good grasp on that in there. Also with Divine Hammer, using that as well in those dungeons perhaps. If I do get in there and do some testing on that, that would be really cool. I can't guarantee I get to do that because you also have to find groups and stuff for it. But if I do get on the PTR and do that, that would be a bonus this particular week. So we did get to phase 3 on Mythic Queen and Scarab. So we were putting Lust in phase 2 to get there. But we also had 2 players, I wouldn't even call them bench players so much, 2 just like absolute Hail Mary fill-ins, former Raiders who are kind of geared, like heroic level geared. And so it was a little bit rough, not because of their play. They're actually amazing players, but their gear is very, very low. And they came in and we put the Lust into phase 2, and we were actually getting to phase 3 a couple times, and even saw a bit of phase 3 with like the whole raid alive. So hopefully, I doubt it'll die this week, but we hopefully will see it get very low this week, if nothing else, and then maybe kill it next week. That would be very, very ideal. Get it done before February, not even have to worry about it. Having to take many days off, I should say, for the many raid nights off for holidays and stuff like that has been rough, but we can finally get this done. We probably could have been done 2 weeks ago, honestly. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we probably could have been done if not for the holidays falling where they did and everything like that. So a little bit disheartened there, but should be getting it down. I did stream a little bit of that. Sometimes I like to try to stream that stuff. I don't know why. I don't more often, honestly, because I'm stuck in here on raid night anyways. So I don't know why I don't just turn it on. People can come hang out. I always enjoy chatting with any of you that stop by. A lot of you just come by and say like some really nice things really quick. I appreciate that very much, by the way, for anyone who does do that. I mean, that just, makes me feel amazing, of course. So thank you for that. So maybe I'll stream some Queen and Scarab Prog this week as well, with some Plunderstorm before it, like I did on the other day. I believe maybe on Thursday. I don't even know which day it was, if it was Tuesday or Thursday, but we'll see on that. So we'll call that quits for this week because there's not a ton else to talk about. Just waiting for more PTR news. We haven't had as much news as I maybe would have thought there would be coming out. I want to look at some of the raid testing that's been done, look at some of the bosses maybe, and give my opinions on those. That's one thing I still want to look at, but yeah, hasn't been a ton of news coming out of the PTR, surprisingly, which is fine because we still probably have a month, at least a month. It could be more than a month before the patch comes out. So 4 to 7 weeks, I would say, before the patch comes out. So that's it for this one, guys. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to check out the Patreon. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.